Could you comment on the teen driving for the parents? Because I know in my culture that some of the parents, they don't feel comfortable with the kids to drive because we know they've made mistakes by driving, sometimes you cannot, So what do you talk to the parents? I know this depends on the family, how the parents, their comfort. So I want to hear what your comment on this.
Scary time when our kids start driving. I've taught a lot of kids how to drive. I've taught a lot of teens how to drive. And it is a very scary time. I also want to comment on the fact that I think that, we have a lot of different cultures living in Silicon Valley and living in America. And I think it must be very challenging for families where the parents did not grow up in this country and yet the kids are. Right? So the kids are being raised more as Americans, and the families are struggling with their own parenting issues from the culture they came from. In terms of the kids driving, first of all, you can get your permit when you're 15 and a half. You can get your permit when you've earned it. It's not an automatic right that you get your permit when you're 15 and a half. You have to earn it. So I think as a parent, you need to have an idea in your mind of what kind of behavior you expect from your child before you are going to give them the privilege of driving. And again, I think every family has different expectations. Kids who are doing well in school, kids who are getting along with their parents, kids who are handling things well, I think they've earned the right to get their permit at 15 and a half because we are living in America, and at 15 and a half, you can have your permit, okay? I also don't have a problem if parents say, we don't think a kid should get their permit till they're 17. If that's what you feel, then you need to do that. But be prepared for your child to say, but that's not fair. And in this instance, it kind of isn't. You can say, I'm sorry it's not fair, but that's the way we're doing it. Okay? So I think it's more important about the child than about the parent. When my son got his driver's license, he got it on a Friday night, and it was the day of his birthday, and he turned 16, and he said, I'm going out with some friends. And I said, oh, great. What time are you going to be home? And he said, oh, I don't know. And I said, well, why don't you be home by 1? And he said, well, actually, Mom, legally, I'm not allowed to drive after midnight. I said, oh, well, then why don't you be home by midnight? He said, okay. I said, great. So he was ready for his driver's license. Okay? Some kids aren't. I think there's also a funny thing. I've seen a flip side. I've seen a lot of kids who are not ready to get their permit at 15 and a half. And we've got parents going, let's get your permit. And the kid is saying no. If a child is not ready to drive, do not push it. If they're not ready to drive, they're not ready to drive. And it'll happen naturally. So I think it's more important to look at the child's behavior and the parents' expectations of that behavior.